An actor is a performing artist that portrays different characters on stage and in the movies. Basically, acting is about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. But in order to do that very well, you need to know who you are, first of all. Today we are here with Peter Valentino to discuss about knowing who you are. Hi Peter, how are
Hi.
you today?
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. So, why it's so important to know who you are in acting? Because for everyone to know, in your classes, this is the first thing you teach your students. Why so important?
Yes, it's important for an actor to know their own emotional construct, how they're made up emotionally, what makes them feel sad, what makes them feel angry. Because when you're approaching a character, the only actual emotional construct you have is your own. And so you have to know what gets you mad. Some people will say, oh, I never get mad. Usually they're repressing something that if they were really being themselves, they'd find that something would make them mad.
For sure.
I tell my students even kittens have claws. So that you want to know that so that when you go to a character, you kind of know, okay, like a map, you are here, this is how you are, and then when you're going to the character, you can recognize that they have a different emotional construct than yourself. And it's also important for your self-confidence to know and accept yourself.
Right. And are there any techniques that you teach students in order to get to know themselves better?
Yes, well, one thing is I have students come up in front of class and I ask them questions about their past. What time did they get angry? What time did they get sad or cry? And it helps to actually witness that in yourself in front of the group.
Like
So-
keeping a journal.
Well, and then there's keeping a journal on your own. The homework would be also noticing if you got into an emotional state, how did you feel? So an actor actually, in the midst of a natural emotional state for them as themselves, can notice, okay, how do I feel right now? What is this doing to me? And that helps you get back to it because you can use some of those things in your acting when you have to access your own feelings and put them into this other person.
There are introverts and extroverts. Which one is easier to coach? Is it good to be an introvert as an artist? Is an advantage or not?
The introvert extrovert thing is something oftentimes we come up with. We may think that we're one or the other. And for actors, oftentimes what you're doing is looking at balancing that. So that, for instance, for myself, I know for a fact that I am an introvert who can be an extrovert. And the introversion comes in writing, and introspection is introversion. Knowing yourself is a form of introspection or introversion. And then there's the extrovert who is fearless, and you want to create that in yourself, that fearlessness, so that you can go into any situation and whatever it takes, you can do it. You can be extroverted for that. So oftentimes also people who come as extroverts will have some self-knowledge that they miss because they're so busy being external that they didn't notice how they feel on the inside.
Right.
So I seek to balance these things, and sometimes I'll ask the class, ask them the question, are you introverted or extroverted? And usually it lands about half and half.
You also recommend some breathing techniques. What is that about? How does that help in getting to know who you are?
Well, the breathing techniques, Stanislavski talks about yoga and breathing techniques and relaxation techniques, and those are all to make it so you can start from a neutral place. It's my belief that the actor wants to be emotionally balanced and neutral so that you can go off to this thing over there and this thing over there. In a way, we have this spectrum of emotions from, let's say, we've got sadness over here and anger over here, and the actor wants to reside in joy, which is a centric emotion. and then you can let go of that, access sadness, access anger over
I
there.
understand. What about inhibiting your fear? Do you encourage that? Because many people think about inhibiting their fears would help achieve what they want, would help enacting play better. Is that a technique you recommend, or do you have something better?
Well, the idea of inhibiting your fears, you want to really think about, you could, when you inhibit something, you're trying to block it. But what we could do is, instead of blocking the fear, find a way to not have them in the first place. Because some of the things people do to inhibit their fears or change that, for instance, substance abuse or having a drink, I know a number of performers that, especially in music, they'll drink
Before the concert.
yeah, and so they'll use that to kind of let their fears
Cool
go
them
in the
down.
moment. But all these things of relaxation, especially the relaxation exercise, gives you this controller. Stanislavski tells you about this controller, which is a part of you that can look at your body and relax everything. And once you get that controller to be strong, then whatever situation you're in, you can look at yourself and relax yourself. Therefore, the fear goes away. And somebody asked me the other day, how did you get rid of this fear to be fearless out of being having a lot of fear at first? And it's through classes. Classes are really good because then you're with people, you're up in front of people, and you get through that stuff by doing something that you're afraid of several times, and then you notice, oh, I'm still alive, and that makes you stronger. When you notice you didn't really get hurt, it really wasn't dangerous.
Right.
It was just something in your mind.
Understand. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.